Good morning! It's Lakia Mac, your investy bestie. And before I forget, I need to give a shout out to B's Custom Tees for the shirts, baby. And I have more that I need to go pick up. I'll be there soon. But anyway, for those of you who are new here, I am your investy bestie, investor turned realtor. And I am here to give you knowledge of what I've learned. I mean, does that make sense? I don't know. But one thing that you need to know, if you're new here, is my editing is very limited because I don't care about that. I'm not one of those girls who's all about the aesthetics, even though I love watching that. That ain't me. You're going to get what you get. My hair needs a retwist. Usually I have it up in a ponytail, but I don't know why it's down today. Nevertheless, we don't care about the artwork on the wall. We don't care about none of that. I come to you as your best friend, and I'm giving you the information that I have. Now, let's jump right into it because I'm going to try. My goal is to have this video under 5.5 minutes. I'm probably 2 minutes in already. But anyway, today, and also, I have my notes here. I ain't trying to pretend like I know everything off the top of my head. I do research, and I bring it to you. I write it down. Old school, baby. Well, type it. Okay. Let's jump right into why we're here today. So today, I am here to give you 3 Georgia zip codes that I am personally watching for forced appreciation going into 2026. Now, none of these are obvious. Well, maybe they are to you. I don't know. But this is not a market update. This is infrastructure play, which is completely different. I don't want to say market updates are useless because they're not. I have to study the trends so I can know what I'm doing, where I'm going, how I'm going to handle things. But market updates basically tell you what's already happened. What we're going to talk about today is where the money is being engineered next, because that's important, especially if you are looking to become an investor. Now, investors don't make real money chasing appreciations like certain zip codes that those bigger name companies put out there. They make money by following infrastructure, right? You get in soon. You get in before that play goes. Y'all already know. It could literally change your life. So investors follow infrastructure, institutions, and city spending before it hits the headlines. Am I breaking news? Just call me Lakia Mac newscaster. Anyway, so today I'm breaking down 2 places in Georgia, one in Atlanta, which will be 2 zip codes, and then one in Macon, because y'all know your girl loves a good Macon deal. Now, these 3 zip codes I'm watching as we move forward in 2026. So, first up, let's talk about Atlanta, okay? Now, we ain't talking about the side that everybody be talking about, right? We're not talking about the East Side BeltLine, which I know a lot of people of mine probably immediately went to there because it's a great place. However, the appreciation is already priced in. If you're buying there now, you're late. You're not wrong at all, but you're late. What I'm watching is the west side and the southwest expansion of the Atlanta BeltLine. Now, specifically West End and Oakland City. These areas are still in what you would call the inconvenience phase. So construction, uneven blocks, mixed conditions, which is exactly where investors want to be. So you got to pay attention. Now, I'm going to give you some zip codes, but let's be clear. These are not guarantees. This is not real estate advice. This is not legal advice. This is no advice. This is just what I'm paying attention to, right? These are no guarantees. They're just on my radar. Now, 2 zip codes in Atlanta that I am honing in on, I'm laser focused on at the moment is 30310. Did I say that right? 30310, yes. And 30311. Now, also the spillover areas around that as well. So here's why that matters. The BeltLine doesn't just add a trail. It adds walkability, it adds retail demand, it adds density, and it adds institutional interest. That's major, guys. This creates appreciation whether the broader market is hot or not. Now, let me be clear. This is block by block. Property taxes, tenant quality, and renovation costs absolutely matter, okay? This is not one of those situations where you could just buy and hope for the best. It's not that type of market, okay? But this is infrastructure direction, okay? Now let's move on to play number 2. Let's talk about the market that most people overlook, but if you've been following my channel, all 48 of you, thank you to my subscribers. I know it's like 48, like get a life, old lady, whatever. Thank you. I really appreciate every single one of you. And like I always say, I got 5 kids. One's a toddler. So 4 are probably my kids. And you got my mama, my daddy, my cousins, right? It don't matter. 48 are here with me and I appreciate you. Now back to the subject at hand. Macon, Georgia. Now, Macon isn't trying to be Atlanta. The residents of Macon, the residents that I've talked to, they make it perfectly clear. They're not trying to be Atlanta at all. But that's why it works. You've got improvements tied to the Middle Georgia Regional Airport and steady demand anchored by Mercer University. Side note, I feel like I applied to Mercer. I did apply to Mercer. But I can't remember if I got in. Or maybe I didn't apply. I don't know. But here I am advocating because the area, baby, I need to show y'all a tour that I did of. It was a 5-bedroom, but the way it was set up, it was already set up for student housing. Every room was private. Every room had its own bathroom, and you had your common area. My client didn't want it, and because I'm dealing with this headache of a flip in Atlanta, it just didn't make sense for me to get it. But anyway, I'm gonna see if it's still available. Let me know if you're interested. Anyway, back to Macon. The airport and the university anchor. That combination creates something that us investors love. Predictable demand It creates predictable demand why can I talk? It creates predictable demand without hype pricing. So I'm particularly, y'all know I mess up on words. If you're new here, you might not know that, but you're going to find out really quickly. Okay, I'm watching revitalization near the historic districts close to Mercer University. Not the speculative sprawl. So basically what I mean is I am focused on a specific area in Macon, Georgia, and not the speculative areas surrounding it. Now, this is functionality, not flash. Just like I say, I'm not that girly with all the YouTube aesthetics and the backdrops. You're not going to get that here. You're going to get what you get. Now, I did say I was going to give y'all 3 zip codes, and I gave y'all 2 in Atlanta. I'm going to give you 2 more in Macon. So look at your girl coming through with the bonus for you. Now, 2 Macon zip codes that's on my radar is 31201 and 31204. Now, you have typically lower cost, slower appreciation, but better margins and less volatility. Now, you may think to yourself, why would you want something with slower appreciation? I'm going to tell you why. Fast appreciation benefits flippers. Slow appreciation benefits landlords. With slow appreciation, you have time to have your cash flow. You're not banking on appreciation to survive. Also, prices don't run away from rents. Okay? Fast markets freeze margins. Slow markets pay you while you wait. So you just got to kind of know what's your end goal. Also, one thing to note, slow appreciation does not equal stagnation. Okay? Infrastructure still raises the floor. So it'll still appreciate. It just may appreciate at a slower rate. Also, before we get back to the subject at hand, I want to make note of the fact that in slow appreciation markets, you can refinance instead of selling. And you're not forced to time the market so that you can sell. You can hold the property without pressure. So back to the 2 zip codes in Macon, 31201 and 31204. This is buy and hold money. This is boring money. Okay? But boring money wins. Okay? Now, Now, speaking of appreciation, you have to understand this is forced appreciation, right? Forced appreciation happens when the values increase because of external investment and not from emotional buying. We went through a lot of emotional buying during COVID. So this is forced appreciation. Why is the camera zoomed in like that? Oh, there we are. Okay. So this is forced appreciation. Okay, forced appreciation. So things like city infrastructure, transit expansion, institutional anchors, remember Mercer University, and the regional airport, and employer stability. That's why you don't have to chase the appreciation. It's the external investments that forces the appreciation. I gotta find a Zoom to go with that. Just a tip. Follow where it's being engineered. Atlanta and Macon are kind of doing the same thing, just on different scales and different price points. So one is faster and a little more volatility. The other one is slower, but a little more stable. If you want to run real numbers in these areas, that's what I do, baby. Okay. I'm not about the hype. I mean, like I say, your girl, you know, I'm down for a good hype session. But when it comes to real estate, I ain't about all that hype, fluff, and nobody cares. Who cares? Nobody cares about that. Anyway, if you want that, if you want numbers, not that fake hype stuff. If you want numbers, hit me up. Okay? 470-948-5545. Email me, lakia@lakiamac.com, baby. As always, it is a pleasure, and I so thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you are ready to turn confusion into coins and questions into what's closed deals, I'm your girl. I am Lakia Mac, your investy bestie with Location Real Estate. It's been a pleasure having my weekly meeting with my bestie, baby. Love you lots.